Hello amazing people, welcome back to my channel guys. So if you want to see how I achieve this beautiful crop top, then you need to stick around to the end of this video as I show you the easy way to do this. Yes, so here today I'll be using this beautiful African print. So this is just 1 yard of African print. Is going to be enough for this, and of course I have my working tools, the scissors, the measuring tapes, the rollers, some chalks, and of course some safety pins to go with it. And I'm also going to be using a lining for this as well. So without wasting much time, let's get to the drawing table. So here I'm going to be using this pattern paper to demonstrate this for clarity's sake. Okay, of course you can see this. I have this folded into two, assuming this is my fabric. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to take note of the length of this crop top, which is actually 17 inches. I'm just going to add 1 inches extra allowance for the joining at the shoulder part and also the hemming at the lower part, which makes it what, 18 inches. The next thing now is to locate the chest line. Now the chest line I'm working with is 8.5 inches. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and convert this to a straight line, and that is it guys. Now the next thing now is to input in the 3 by 8 inches mark so we can get our slope. The 8 inches I marked 1 inches for the slope. At that unfold part I indicated the 3 inches mark. Then I'll use my ruler to connect this so I could get my slope. Now the next thing is to input the shoulder measurement. The shoulder I'm working with is 14. If I divide it by 2, I have 7 inches plus 0.5 inches, making it 7.5. So what I'll do now is to mark my 7.5 all the way to that chest line. So once I was done, I connected the straight lines. Okay, yes, and at this point now you can see we have our the angle 90 degree that will usually give us what, our armhole. So that chest line I'm marking now is the bust measurement of 34 divided by 4, 8.5. I just added extra 2 inches of allowance. Then for the waist was 28 divided by 4, 7, and extra 2 inches of allowance. So I went ahead to connect these lines together. So you can see I have my what shape here by the side. So ordinarily, we're supposed to be creating our armhole here, but we are not going to be doing that because of that slant we are going to be creating towards that armhole. So coming back later to that, I'm going to fix in what, the neckline. So here I'm using the neck width of 3, the neck depth of 2 for the back piece, then the neck depth of 3 for the front piece. Okay, yes, I'm just marking everything out together. Like I said, the neck width of 3, the neck depth of 2 for the back, and the neck depth of what, 3 for the front piece. Yes guys, so once I was done creating this, then the next thing now is to create that shape we have towards our armhole. Okay, yeah, so like I said, it's not going to be our regular armhole. So you can see from that point, if I measure it, what I have of my shoulder here, what is 4 inches. So ordinarily this 4 inches is moderate to work with, because at this 4 inches, by the time you take away half inches by that armhole and also half inches towards the neckline, you see that you'll be left with what, 3 inches. So 3 inches is moderate for the shoulder width once you're done making your top or blouse. But in this case, it's going to be a sleeveless, so I don't want it to be 3 inches. I want it to be 2 inches afterwards, which means that 4 inches I'm going to reduce it by 1 inches. Okay, so reducing it by 1 inches will make me have 3 inches. So by the time I take away half inches on both ends, you will see that I'll be left with what, 2 inches. Okay, yes. So that's 1 inch is down. You can see that point where I just marked that. I'm going to be extending it to a straight line all the way to that chest line. Okay, so I'm going to use my ruler to mark it a straight line. Now, after marking it at that point of my chest line, okay, in order for us to now create that slant effect, at that same point, I'll be moving inwards by 3 inches. So do not get confused here. This means now that point now, the first line has been discarded, okay? So I'm moving inwards at that new line I have created. You can see I'm marking out that point is no longer valid. So now I'm coming inwards by 1 inch. So this depends on what you want. If you want the slant to be deeper than what you have on the thumbnail, you can do 1.5, or you can even move up a bit by say 2 inches. But 1 inches is okay for me. So that 1 inches point, I'll be connecting it back to what that shoulder width. So you can see me connecting it back, so which means also that other line what is no longer valid as well. So here you can see this is now our new armhole line, guys. That is it, guys. So the next thing of course will be what to cut this entire piece. Just to be careful, remember we're going to be placing this on our fabric, and to cut out for both the front piece what and the back piece. So following through this shape, you can see this is how it will go. Cut the sides and of course the lowest point of the top. Yes, guys, so after I'm done with this cutting, I'll go ahead what place it on my fabric. Okay, yes, so after cutting, you can see the view. This looks beautiful already. You can see how this is the shape. Okay, there's nothing difficult or even different here. It's just one piece. The only thing that differ it from the back piece is just the neckline and the fact that there's going to be what a zipper allowance. So I'll go ahead and place it on my fabric to cut this out. So once I was done, you can see I have my piece here. Okay, so if you're going to not use a lining, you can just use a bias tape to tape the neckline. So you just tape the neckline and also what tape the armhole, then before joining your sides, and you are good to go. But in this case, I'm going to be using a lining. So what I was going to do is to cut out the lining for this, okay, for the entire piece. And here I've gone ahead to cut out the lining, so I have my lining for both the front piece and also what the back piece. So this lining now, I'm going to use it what to join this piece together by of course placing it over the right side. Then I'm going to be joining the neckline, the armhole, and also what the sides. Yes, so once I was done with the lining, then of course I'll do the same thing for the back piece. Then I'll have it in one piece. So here you can see my lining. I've used it to turn out the fabric. You can see how this looks already, and I've also what gone ahead to join the shoulder as well. So at this point, I would have loved to give this a good press, but I can't do that now because of no power. So I'll just go ahead with the tutorial. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to create the dart. Okay, so I folded this front piece into two. I went ahead to notch the center point. So at that center point, I'm going to be marking out the bust span. Now the bust span is the nipple to nipple distance, and the bust span I'm working here is 7 inches. If I divided it by 2 was 3.5 plus 0.5 inches, making it 4. So at that center point, I'm going to be marking out 4 inches on both sides for my dart. Okay, yes. So at that dart point, I'm just going to be sewing up 6 inches. Now this is the front piece. Just 6 inches is okay for my dart stitch. Okay. So I'm just going to sew from the lowest point of the top, just fold it and sew 6 inches at the back side so you can see this. So once I was done with that, then the front piece also, I'm also going to do the same thing. But remembering that this front piece, remember there's a zipper allowance, okay? So in turning now with the lining, the 2 inches zipper allowance we kept has also reduced it to 1.5 because we have used half of an inch to sew up that zipper part. So I'm going to mark out that 1.5 inches, okay, which indicates what my zipper line. Then at that point of my zipper marking, then from there I will now mark out my bust span of 4 inches. So this is the point I'm going to be sewing my darts for the back piece. Now for the back piece, I'm going to be going a little bit more. Okay, so from that lowest point, I'll be sewing upward by 9 inches. So remember the front was 6 inches, but for this back piece, is going to be 9 inches. Okay, for my dart. Yes, guys. So once I'm done, I'm going to sew half of an inch like you see me doing, marking out that half of an inch point. I'll fold it and create my dart for each piece. I'm going to do the same thing for the other back piece. So once I'm done fixing the dart, okay, then the next thing of course I'll do is to add my zipper. So I'm going to be using my zipper to what? To attach this. So you can see this zipper is actually longer. So I'm going to start my zipper sewing it from the lowest point, okay, so that when I get to that up point, I can always trim out the excesses. So that is it, guys. So once I'm done fixing the zipper, the next thing of course now to do what would be what? To join the sides. Yes, to join the side. But before that, I'm also going to what? Hem the lowest point. So all I need to do now is to fold half of an inch like you see, fold in half of an inch like so, and create a stitch. You can also use your hemming gun if you don't want to see the stitch at the lowest point. So mind you, it's advisable you make this hemming before you even create your dart, okay? It's important to hem the lower part before you create your dart, okay? Yes, so that it will be easy to work with. Then after that, you join the sides with the measurement, and guys, this crop top is ready, guys. It's as easy as that. So that is it, guys, on how to make this beautiful crop top. Thank you so much, guys. If you find this helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and also if you've not subscribed, do that as well. Bye.